The government has given permission for Cuadrilla to carry out fracking at its site at Preston New Road. It means the company can now prepare to extract shale gas.
This morning, 6 anti-fracking campaigners locked themselves onto blocks of concrete at the site entrance. They're the first to break an injunction, which means they could face prison sentences. Here's our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson.
This is the kind of protest we haven't seen for months outside Cuadrilla's fracking site. In the past, these campaigners might have received a fine for blocking the entrance. Now they could face a jail sentence. Cuadrilla has brought in an injunction designed to prevent trespassing. It's the first time it's been breached.
Potentially there is a lot at stake. They obviously went into this with a clear head and knowing exactly what they were getting themselves into. They're incredibly brave.
Today the protest is more against the injunction than it is against Cuadrilla themselves. There's a growing perception that the injunction is actually an abuse of the legal process.
Today, Cuadrilla said it did respect the right to protest, but claimed deliveries to and from the site were being delayed. Breach of the High Court injunction, it said, is contempt of court.
I take the view now that if the police ask you to move because there's a lorry coming in or going out, we move straight away, whereas in the past it might not have been straight away.
This injunction is timely. It's designed to limit disruption as the company prepares to carry out fracking. This afternoon, the government gave final permission for fracking to go ahead here. Last week, the second horizontal well was drilled at Preston New Road. It's the first time permission's been given on mainland Britain for horizontal fracking. These protesters had locked themselves together with steel and concrete. After 7 hours, they were finally released.
Thank you, Governor.
No matter what they do, they can't stop us.
Thank you.
Well done.
Protests have been taking place almost daily here for months. Despite this injunction, campaigners say they're determined to try and stop fracking going ahead.
Well, Judy is here now. How significant is today's decision, Judy?
Well, it's the final piece of the jigsaw, if you like. 2 wells have now been drilled, and the government had to check that the company has complied with all its permits. It's had to check the first well. That's the well that's been given permission. The second well hasn't got permission to be fracked just yet. The company's accounts have had to be checked to see that Cuadrilla is viable, and that's why consent has now been given. Now, this is the first time, of course, that a company has been given permission to carry out fracking since the moratorium, which happened in 2011, caused, of course, by 2 earthquakes at one of Cuadrilla's sites. So fracking is now due to take place. It could happen in September. The site's going to look very different. That big drilling rig that we're so often seeing on our pictures, that will be taken down and the fracking equipment will be put up. Now, it's also going to sound very different. Fracking's very noisy. It's no longer going to be a 24/7 operation. Fracking can only take place between 8 and 6 on weekdays and 9 and 1 on a Saturday. But you can see here that the protesters aren't happy about what's going on there. They're not happy about the injunction, and they're going to continue to protest, obviously.
Yeah, and we'll continue to follow the story. Judy, thanks very much.